to Kentucky, all the way through Virginia, now here in Arizona, and we've even had an event on the front steps of the IRS building in Washington, D.C., all along the way asking Congress to get this tax cuts bill done and passed now. Allow me to introduce Alfredo Ortiz. Let me open this here. Alfredo Ortiz is the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network, where he has led the defense of small businesses from the onslaught of bad government policies. Alfredo has testified before legislative committees about the impact of taxation and regulation on small business growth, and speaks frequently to business organizations across the nation about the need for job creators to seize responsibility for defending free enterprise. He has also been published in media outlets including USA Today, CNBC, Fox News, and The Hill. So give a hand to Alfredo Ortiz.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I know we've got some high schoolers as well that are just getting a preview of what it's like for these types of things and public demonstration and public speeches. So we welcome the high schoolers that are here today. So again, hello, and thank you for joining me here today and helping to support tax cuts for our nation's small businesses and hardworking taxpayers. It is an effort that my organization, the Job Creators Network, has been heavily engaged in over the past few months. I also want to thank Governor Ducey and his staff for supporting these important efforts at the federal level. The governor knows how to run a business and has been trying to get state government to act more like a business. We now need to take that kind of effort to the federal government in Washington, D.C. You see, the Job Creators Network was started by Bernie Marcus, the co-founder of the Home Depot. He actually started the Home Depot with 2 stores in Atlanta. He was actually, an interesting story, he was actually fired at 48, and at 52 he started Home Depot again with those 2 stores, and today employs 400,000 people. He's really one of those great American dream stories, and it's an amazing story really about entrepreneurship in this country. One of the things, though, he was concerned about was the type of high taxes that existed especially for entrepreneurs in an environment of overregulation. And he really believed that for our entrepreneurs of today to be successful, we had to really work on whittling those down. When I was a boy, we didn't have a lot. In fact, I would help my mom collect aluminum cans on the side of the road so we could turn them into grocery money. At that point, I didn't know what it would take to be successful and start a business. I just knew that it would take hard work. I later went on to start several businesses, a construction business, a marketing company, but I fear for the would-be entrepreneurs of today. Will they be able to navigate the maze of regulations and requirements required by the government to start a venture, let alone afford the taxes and fees that come with them? JCN was founded to combat these harmful policies and to advocate on behalf of the 29 million small businesses and their 56 million employees. JCN is their voice in Washington and in state capitals across the country. One of the biggest threats facing small business entrepreneurs is the burdensome federal tax rate, which can reach levels as high as 40%, keeping them from expanding their businesses, hiring new employees, and giving raises to their current staff. In fact, the Job Creators Network surveyed small business owners around the country, and their #1 issue was high taxes. They told us that if they got a break, they would put that extra money to work by investing in the business and the people that kept the business running. Small business entrepreneurs and the hardworking taxpayers that operate them need our help, and they need it now. The Trump tax plan that now has been drafted in the House includes the biggest small business tax cut in at least 15 years. We believe the small business employers, who hire well over half of American workers, are big winners here, and kudos to President Trump and House Republicans for giving them long overdue relief. Anything that benefits small business owners by allowing them to succeed and expand is unquestionably good news for American workers. The new tax bill calls for a new 25% top marginal small business tax rate, down from the current rate of almost 40% levied on successful businesses in this country. This reform will allow millions of American manufacturers, retailers, and other small businesses to keep more of their earnings necessary to compete with their big business and international competitors. It will also help keep them located here in the United States. Is this bill perfect? No. Professional service operations, for example, like dentists, accountants, architects, aren't included, and we hope that the Senate version of the bill can address this oversight. But any policy that keeps money in the hands of job creators and out of the hands of politicians is a step forward. Small business tax cuts mean more jobs, higher wages, and economic expansion, which is what this bus tour is about promoting. We need to raise awareness of this policy issue so that we can pressure elected representatives in Congress to pass this monumental legislation. This is what's most important and dramatic tax reform package to come around in 30 years. We need to make sure that Washington knows the importance of passing this bill by the end of this year. It gives reliefs to job creators large and small, as well as the American workers and their families. I urge all of you to go to taxcutsnow.com, that's taxcutsnow.com, to sign our petition urging your legislator to pass Tax Cuts Now and supporting this bill. Again, I want to thank Governor Ducey and his staff for making this event possible and doing what he can to support small businesses in Arizona. So once again, please contact your legislator at taxcutsnow.com, and I also urge you to join JCN in fighting for small business by visiting joinjcn.com. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Terry Kimball. Terry Kimball is currently the president and CEO of the Chandler Chamber of Commerce. Prior to this, she worked in the field of business development for 25 years and held a number of leadership roles in the Elk Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, and the Watauga Foothills Chamber of Commerce. And with that, I'd like to invite her to come up to the stage. Thank you.
Small business owners from across the country want the same thing, the ability to expand, hire more people, and invest in their employees. As a CEO and president of the Chandler Chamber of Commerce, we represent over 170,000 employees in our community with over 12,000 businesses. 95% of those businesses have less than 50 employees. It is imperative that we unite and have one voice for small business. In a recent business survey, our local community mirrors what the National Survey on Business could do if they had tax reform. Number one, they'd expand. Number two, they'd hire more people. And number three, they'd invest in their employees and their community. What a powerful message this is. The high federal tax rate for small business can be as high as 40%. This is impeding their ability to make their desires a reality. And not only is this hurting the business owners, but the workers that they employ, the customers that they serve, and the American economy at large. It has been 31 years since Congress last reformed the tax code. Since then, the code has become an anchor weighing down the economy, job creation, and wage growth for American families. The tax plan proposed by the Trump administration and the congressional leadership lowers the tax rate for these businesses by 40%. This could have a tremendous positive impact on small business. Now that the budget has passed in both chambers of Congress, lawmakers are free to pursue small business tax cuts heads on. The time is now. Small business tax cuts are a nonpartisan issue. It's an American issue. Both Republicans and Democrats should be able to get behind the legislation that accelerates job creation, raises wages, and strengthens its communities. It's a win-win policy. I urge Congress to quickly pass significant small business tax cuts before the end of the year so that our nation's entrepreneurs and all the people that depend on them can go into 2018 financially stable and ready to grow the economy. It is now my pleasure to introduce one of our small businesses in Chandler, and that is our community partner, Anthony Kanecchia. He is a founding partner of Santan Brewing. Santan Brewing was founded in 2007 and has a strong reputation as one of Arizona's favorite craft breweries. In 2009, Santan began distributing to their Southwest-style airs throughout the state of Arizona, operating with the mission to pair craft beer with craft food, and that would inspire great conversation and good times. And 2014 marked the beginning of taking the journey not only from the Southwest, but to also Southern California. They are expanding. So please welcome Anthony Kaneckia and his other teammates from Santan Brewing. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. So in 2005, I had a dream to open up a brew pub. In 2006, I started writing the business plan. I wrote that business plan in the Mesa Community College Public Library because I was pretty thrifty and I didn't want to spend the money on a computer. So I used the state computers to help build that business plan. With the help of the Small Business Administration, Santan brewed its first beers and served its first burger in September of 2007. We opened with 23 employees. Very quickly after that, in early 2008, the Great Recession hit. I promptly threw my business plan out the window. We received our first tax bill, our federal tax bill, about mid-year in 2008, and it almost bankrupted the company fresh out of the box. We put our noses down, and we continued to grow, and every penny was reinvested in Santan. 2008 was a hard year, and even with the large tax bills on alcohol in general, we continued to hire employees, purchase new equipment, and continued to do so year after year in the anticipation that we could always be a better company. We could improve our beers, improve our food, and improve our service through education and training. Over the years, we have personally, as a business, firmly believed in investing in our employees. We've invested in advanced education in both brewing science, food science, management training, with the intention of creating the best workforce in the state. Last September, Santan celebrated our 10th anniversary, and we're very proud to be the largest craft brewery in the state with over 155 employees. Unfortunately, this designation came as the largest craft brewery in the state came by definition and not necessarily by volume. We eclipsed in volume because Four Peaks Brewing Company was no longer an American company. Four Peaks was purchased by a foreign corporation known as Budweiser InBev. They're based out of Belgium. After the Belgian company purchased Four Peaks Brewing, they immediately saw a return on their investment with a 10% reduction in their taxes. This tax savings allow foreign corporations to compete against local businesses with a heavy advantage in both the field of price and cost of goods. Foreign corporations have and will continue to merge and acquire U.S. breweries and U.S. businesses as long as they see that competitive corporate tax rate, which is so strangling American small business. If we do not enact tax legislation now, these M&As by foreign corporations will increase exponentially year after year, ultimately draining dollars from the American tax base and labor from the American workforce. Reduced tax rates for American small business will level the playing field and allow us to continue to invest in our companies and, most importantly, in our employees so that we can continue to innovate and grow. It's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Governor Doug Ducey, our 23rd governor of the state of Arizona. With a mission to make Arizona the best state in the country to live, work, and do business and get an education, Governor Ducey and state leaders got to work. Today, Arizona's budget is balanced, business is thriving, and public schools continue to improve. As governor, he is committed to continue growing the economy, creating 21st century jobs, promoting educational excellence, and restoring fiscal responsibility, Gesundheit, all without raising taxes on hardworking Arizonans. Prior to his service as governor, he was the Arizona State Treasurer, as well as the CEO of Cold Stone Creamery. I have this, myself and my business partners have this in common with the governor. He is one of us. Please join me in welcoming Governor Doug Ducey.
Good to see you. Thanks very much, Anthony, for the introduction, and it's just great to see so many friends and citizens that are excited about having their taxes lowered in this next Congress. I want to thank Job Creators Network for being here today, and I want to say I'm looking forward to Tax Cut Now coming to the United States Congress and coming to the state of Arizona. We have a very important message that we need the politicians in Washington, D.C. to hear loud and clear from the state of Arizona. The time for excuses is over. This isn't the time to delay or to wait. It is time right now to make our tax code simpler and fair, and we can't wait for next year. We shouldn't even wait till next month. The time is now for Washington, D.C. to do its job and pass tax reform this year. I want to thank you very much, Alfredo, for the invitation tonight. And coming from the business world, I think many of you are aware, in my past life, I ran a company called Cold Stone Creamery. It was something that started here in Phoenix, Arizona. We were able to build it in states across the country. Today it operates in 31 countries around the world. And we built it into a worldwide brand because we focused on our customers and making our customers happy. We focused on two key rules of leadership: no excuses and no distractions. That's how Arizona has also built a stronger economy and a better model for middle-class families and small businesses. In the state of Arizona, we've been able to cut our taxes every year. We've been able to eliminate regulations, and we've kept our spending under control. This is a good model for Washington, D.C. Today, with the help of other fiscally responsible leaders in our legislature, we enjoy the lowest employment rate in the state of Arizona since 2008. We've brought more than 140,000 private sector jobs since 2015, and Arizona has had 200,000 new residents move to our state in the last 2 years. Maricopa County is now the fastest growing county in the country, and companies from around the world are choosing Arizona to invest, expand, and relocate. Now, our companies are investing millions of dollars to develop cutting-edge technology here. We've won businesses moving from Illinois, Chicago, Austin, Texas, and of course, California. The word is out on Arizona and our quality of life here. Now it's time for Washington, D.C. to wake up, listen to the people, and do its part. For our Congress, there should be no excuses and no distractions. It was a thrill to host Vice President Mike Pence here last month. We met with several small business owners at Ajo L's. All came away with the same agreement, that the time is now to fix our long overdue broken tax code. You know, the last time Congress actually reformed our tax code, Seinfeld wasn't even a television show yet. So I'm saying it's been far too long. And since then, the tax code has nearly doubled in size. It's beyond complex. It's crushing our middle class. And the way Vice President Pence put it, the tax code is longer than the Bible, with none of the good news. So the average time today that is needed to gather receipts, read the rules, and fill out an IRS form for an individual is 13 hours. It takes a small businessman or woman 23 hours, and it costs an average of $12,000 that would otherwise be money for them and their employees. That's just crazy. What we need right now are pro-growth, pro-job creation tax reforms so that the small business owners of Arizona can create new jobs, give their employees a raise, and expand their business.
And another part of this problem in our tax code is the Obamacare individual mandate tax. We have over 150,000 Arizonans who paid an average of $450 each under this tax. The vast majority of these people make under $75,000, and 40% of them make under $25,000. That's taking $70 million from hardworking Arizona families and sending it to Washington with no return on this investment. That's $70 million that could be used to put food on the table, buy clothing, pay the mortgage or rent, or any other bills, but all that money has been removed from our state. And that's just one of the many problems with our complex, impossible to understand tax code. So make no mistake, special interest is going to fight to see that we do not have change in this tax code, to keep their loopholes, to make sure that Arizonans don't get the benefit of this improved system. So Arizonans need to make it clear that we deserve better from Washington, D.C. We need a rate for our businesses that's competitive and fair, and we need to close these loopholes. We need a tax code that's simpler, fairer, it's easier to understand, and equitable for all of the citizens of Arizona. That's going to happen when they pass this bill in Congress at the end of this year. We're going to keep fighting for reform here in the state of Arizona, but we need this tax reform at the federal level, and we need it now. The message for Congress should be no excuses and no distractions. I believe that Arizona families deserve to keep more of their tax codes, to keep more of their tax dollars by an improved code. We want to encourage our businesses to reinvest, raise wages, and bring more jobs here, not see them shipped overseas. Washington, D.C. has stuck it to the middle class for long enough, and it's about time they take a page out of Arizona's playbook and get this done. So let's make the message crystal clear to Washington, D.C. This is one of the most significant things we can do right now in this year and this Congress to boost our economy. It's going to take everyone's help to get this done. The special interests are loud, so we're going to need to be louder. Get on the phone. Call your senators. Call your congressmen. Call your congresswomen. They work for you, and tell them it's time they make this work. Demand action until they take action. Let them know the message from Arizona is no excuses and no distractions. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to see such a wonderful crowd on such a beautiful fall day. Now let's get out there and make it happen.
Thank you again to everyone here for supporting these tax cuts, and a special thanks to Governor Ducey and his team. I've been energized and humbled on this tour, and I've met hundreds of entrepreneurs who work hard every single day, and strong leaders like Governor Ducey who are trying to offer relief. I urge everyone to sign our petition, taxcutsnow.com, because we're not going to get these tax cuts passed without people like you all telling Washington that this is what you want. Thanks again, and have a good afternoon.